Hello and welcome to my review of the Phoenix Lord Fuegan for Aeldari or Eldar for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. Now, Fuegan will cost you £28 and consists of 18 plastic components. Currently out of stock. A lot of the Phoenix Lords are out of stock. This was part of a wave of new Aeldari in 2025 where Games Workshop just opened the floodgates for Phoenix Lords. Personally, I think it would have been better if they slowed that release, but instead we got 4 brand new sculpts of Phoenix Lords. We got Fuegan, Likis, which is brand new Warp Spiders Phoenix Lord, and we got Azuman and Baharoth. This is my favourite. I was leaning more towards Likis, but no matter how hard I try, I just can't overlook that oversized sword and the shape of it too. Baharoth and Azuman are so close to their original sculpts, they don't really do much more for me. And yeah, you could argue similar case to Fuegan, but he's so iconic. He's the poster child of the Aeldari Codex as well. It's on the front cover. It's just fantastic. Probably my second favourite Aeldari model after the Avatar now. So the format of this review then is as normal. I'll have a look at Fuegan up close, go through how easy it was to build, any issues and things I had. There are no spare parts with all of these Phoenix Lords. What you see is what you get. You don't get any options. All of their parts make up, their own models. Then I'll go through some size comparisons with some Fire Dragons and other Eldar minis. And then at the end, I'll go through all of his rules. So first things first then, let's have a look at Fuegan. Absolutely lovely mini, fantastic, lots of detail, quite a few things going on. Start off with this big old fire pike weapon. It's got a name, it's called Searsong. It's huge. It's exactly what you expect. You've got his big winged, you've got his big helmet, which is very Fire Dragon iconic. It's almost like the back of 2 Fire Dragon helmets, sandwiched together. If we have a little look more at the detail, so you've got his Fire Dragon axe there, his armor plates sort of segmented. It's just so cool. He's standing on like a mini webway portal gate thing. It's just some Eldar runes. And then if that wasn't the best thing, you've also got what you don't have on the other Phoenix Lords bases, which is a decapitated head that's on fire. This is a Chaos Space Marine Legionary. Yeah, you got all the gemstones, and you have the icons. One thing I will say is I did snap the one of these ribbon things off the sprue when I was clipping it. Not because I clipped the actual ribbon, but because there was obviously a fault line in the plastic at that point. So me clipping it off the sprue activated that and just snapped it off. And sometimes you get that, especially with like some of the radio wires and things you get on tanks or on Sentinels. They sometimes can snap off. You've got a really nice banner there with a dragon breathing fire. You've got his Seer Song connected to his back. It's just a really cool model. There's not a lot going on, but there's enough going on. Yeah, it's just such a worthy update and upgrade to the model. I'll show you the metal model towards the end of the review. So that's Fuegan, very nice. As I say, no spare parts, so we'll get straight into those size comparisons. First comparison I would like to make, of course, is with the other Phoenix Lords. So I have Likis here. She's I say bigger. She is and she isn't, because Fuegan's banner and fire pike are taller than her, but her as a model, she's probably smaller, like if she stood up. But she's also on this like little web scenic base thing. So that's one of the new Phoenix Lords of this release. Then you've got Azuman. Azuman probably has more presence than Fuegan, maybe, possibly because he's straddling this, you know, some ruins, and his helmet thing is probably a bit bigger, and his banner is bigger. His sword is huge. It's way longer than Fuegan's axe. But yeah, I mean, as much as I like tactical rocks and scenic bases, I think Fuegan's is right because it kind of blends in with that. Whereas Azuman, clearly, he's kind of straddling those two stone parts, and he does look like he's on there just to make himself look bigger. Whereas Fuegan's just like, you know, walking around. So that's the other two. I haven't got Baharoth yet. I will be picking up Baharoth soon. Okay, so I do have a few more Phoenix Lords. We've also got, joining us into the fray is Jane Czar. So Jane Czar is definitely one of the tallest, but they're all pretty tall because of their bases and their weapons and banners. And then we've got Morgan Ra as well. Yeah, not sure about Morgan Ra with his pose and things. But yeah, that is where Morgan Ra stands next to Fuegan. Certainly two of my favourites. Maybe not the model for Morgan Ra, but you know, two favourite Phoenix Lords. So there's 5 out of the possible 6, 7 if you include Karandras, but Karandras is nowhere to be found at the moment. Give you a little bit of a blast from the past then. This is Fuegan from the, I know the base says 92, but he is from the 90s. Never talk to me or my son again. Having a mini that you've had from the 90s unpainted is wild, right? Trust me, I've got a few. Yeah, so a fair bit bigger, but you can see the aesthetics. One thing that I think they've taken over the shoulder pauldrons and the helmet. The helmet is thick back then, and the axe. You know, the axe looks very, very cool now compared to the old axe. And the pose, like Fuegan was just one model, and then this axe was his second piece. But the one thing I wish that they would have had is, instead of giving him like Azuman's robes there for his loin, I would have wished that they'd had, you know, these sort of scales here. They're giving him the similar kind of belt buckle, but yeah, if they'd given him scales for the front bit, that would have been a nice touch. But as you can see, Seer's Song has increased in length. There's more girth for the old model, but yeah, I thought that would be a nice little blast from the past, because not everybody can do that comparison. Compared to his brethren then, the other Fire Dragons, so we have from the new set a Fire Dragon Exarch and just another Fire Dragon. So it gives you an idea of where they sort of stand next to him. Aesthetically, they look brilliant next to him. They really, really suit him. So yeah, that's great that they do, and he's a good compliment. I definitely will be picking up another 5 Fire Dragons. Just makes sense because I think I've got like 10 Striking Scorpions. So a couple more Eldar size comparisons, of course, next to the creature with molten lava for blood, the Avatar, Kayla Mensha Kane. That's how big the Avatar is. Fantastic mini. It won Mini of the Year, didn't it? And then we have a Wraith Knight right here. There are its legs. Well, Fuegan kind of comes up to his shin maybe, but yeah, we have to like really change the camera to give you some kind of height comparison there with a Wraith Knight. So speaking of old minis, here is an old Fire Dragon. I don't know whether the old Fire Dragon will go with Fuegan, because size-wise here, they have had a scale bump. Are they now Primaris Dragons? I don't know, but these look very small. They kind of look like children. I'm not kidding. You know, if you had these along with the new fire dragons, they are gonna look silly. But there we go. Final size comparison I like to make is just with some other 40k minis, so some Imperium ones. So we've got a Space Marine, Primaris, and Slimer. But I think one of the most important comparisons I make is just with this. So as you can see live, just doing the review, this piece has come off again, and that's going to be even more of a pain to glue on. That was with Tamiya glue, by the way. I just thought I'd mention that. The problem is there's not much of a contact point, so if this does snap off the sprue, yeah, you're going to be in for a ride. It's a tricky one in terms of taking it back to GW. So yeah, let's just carry on with the size comparisons there. So Primaris is kind of the same size as a Primaris, I would say. Very, very similar in height. So there you go. But obviously because he's on that scenic base, he's going to be raised above. Hope those size comparisons have helped. Okay, so this is my part of the review where I will go through all of the rules for Fuegan, found in your brand new 10th edition codex. He is an epic hero, and he will cost you 115 points. Super, how does that compare to other Phoenix Lords? Well, he costs more than Jane Czar, which is 110 points. He's cheaper than Likis, which is 120 points. Morgan Ra's also 120. Azuman is 120. Baharoth is actually the most expensive at 125. And it seems that Karandras is free because he's not even in the codex, which, yeah, sucks. But I won't keep rattling on about that. So he's one of the cheapest Phoenix Lords to pick up. Now, what are you getting for your 115 points? Well, you're getting a movement speed of 7 inches, toughness of 3. So he is squidgy. He's got a save of 2+, and an invulnerable save of 4+, 5 wounds, leadership 6+, and objective control 1. Super, how does that compare to like Azuman? Well, he's got exactly the same stat line as Azuman. He's just going to be one of the, I say, slower Phoenix Lords. Like, he's slower than Jane Czar, obviously. Obviously, he's slower than Baharoth and Likis. Fuegan is an epic hero, and he's equipped with Seer Song, which is that big fire pike, and a fire axe. So his ranged weapon, Seer Song, it has 2 firing modes, a beam or lance. So with a beam, it's assault, melter 1, sustained hits 2, range of 12 inches, 3 attacks, ballistic skill 2+, strength 8, AP -3, damage 2. So already that means that he has the highest strength range weapon base out of all the Phoenix Lords, although it is only 12-inch range. It has a second firing mode, which is a lance, and it's assault, melter 6, 18 inches. You only get 1 shot this time. Ballistic skill still at 2+. Strength is 14, AP -4, and damage D6. So that is the lance firing mode that you're going to be using against pretty much any vehicle with strength 14 and damage D6. Its melee weapon has 6 attacks. It's a weapon skill of 2+, strength 5, AP -4, and damage 3. The one thing that shocked me about fire dragons in particular was how good their dragon axes were. Just for comparison, an Exarch's dragon axe has 3 attacks. Its weapon skill is 3+, its strength is 6, AP -4, and damage D6. That's shocking, really, that an Exarch's dragon axe is actually a higher strength than Fuegan's. It has the same AP, but it potentially has more damage, because you can have damage of up to 6, whereas Fuegan's is straight up damage of 3. I mean, I would still always rather take damage 3 than a damage D6, because you still have, you know, 1, 2, you still have a probability there of having a 1, 2, or 3 for damage. 50-50, it's going to be high or low, isn't it? Whereas damage 3 is straight up 3. The model is a leader and can be attached to the following unit: fire dragons. Abilities, he's a leader. Faction ability is battle focus. Then he's got some unique abilities called Burning Lance, While this model is leading a unit, add 6" to the range characteristic of melter weapons equipped by models in that unit. That can be horrific. So if he's leading fire dragons, for instance, the Exarch's fire pike will bump it up to a range of 24 inches. I don't think that includes him. I don't think. I think his Searsong range is 18 inches and that's it. But if he's leading a unit, then that means the fire pike of the Exarch will be 24 inches at strength 12, AP -4. So, and the normal Dragon Fusion guns will be 18-inch range. So it just brings their effective range to 25 inches for these AP -4 melter weapons. They're going to be horrific, especially if you've got like a unit of 10 of them against Terminators or vehicles, really. Unquenchable Resolve. The first time this model is destroyed, at the end of the phase, roll 1d6. On a 2+, set this model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of one or more enemy units with its full wounds remaining. That's pretty nice. So on a 2+, which is highly possible, you're getting a second go. You're getting a second lot of 5 wounds. Essentially, for 115 points, you're getting a 10 wound model. And he'll need it because he's squidgy at toughness of 3. Keywords: infantry, character, epic hero, Aeldari, grenades, aspect warrior, Phoenix Lord, Fuegan, and Asuryani. Not how's your auntie, Asuryani. So there you go. That is my review of Fuegan. Still one of my favourite Phoenix Lords. I would always try and take him and pick him over any of the others. His weapons are decent. I still think the fire axe should be strength 6 though. Or maybe, dare I say it, 7 or an 8, seeing as it's a fire axe. Great model, one of my favourites, poster child of Aeldari at the moment. I can't say enough good things about him. But what do you guys think? Please do put your thoughts and opinions down below. Be good to hear from you. Thank you for watching. The Avatar protects.